What's up, listeners? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the In the Endzone podcast. Just a quick heads up before we jump right into it. You can find this recording as well as some of our previous recordings on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can find us by searching at Settle Down Media on both of those sites. Also, be sure to follow us on our social media pages. We regularly post on Instagram. You can find us by searching at In the Endzone podcast on Instagram. So thanks for watching this and enjoy the rest of the episode. Peace.
Yo. What is poppin'? What is poppin', fellas?
You know what?
Nothing much,
just
man. I'm not gonna lie.
Two roommates out here just talking some ball, Talking
Look,
some
man,
ball.
I'm not gonna lie. The Super Bowl's starting to grow on me. Look, man, I hated it before, but this matchup might be fucking crazy. It might.
It is a crazy matchup. It's
gonna be a fun matchup. We're gonna get into it. But Anthony, how was your week, man? How was your weekend? What did you do? You have fun? What were you up to, brother?
Just hanging out, been getting a hold of that company a lot more. Seems like things are going pretty well so far. Fingers crossed. And other than that, though, just been playing some Phasmophobia and some Marvel Rivals with the fellas.
Yeah, if you guys haven't gone and checked those two games out, they are extremely entertaining to watch and to play. I haven't played either one, but whenever Ant's playing, I always watch that shit. And those two games are extremely entertaining. So shout out to all the boys that continue to play with Ant and have some funny ass clips with those games. But yeah.
Oh yeah. No worries. Other than that though, nothing else too much. We got you caught up with Dexter Original Sin now.
Yeah.
That was a good time.
What a binge that was. What a binge.
That was a binge and a half.
Pleasure.
Oh yeah. What? We got through 7 episodes in 2 days. Yeah.
Yep. And now I'm kind of like itching for more,
Yeah.
Like what the fuck's gonna happen? And the thing is, if you guys don't know this, in the past, Ant and I had basically binge watched seasons 1 through 8, right? So I always got to be like, oh, the next day if I want to watch one, you want to watch one? But now, since we're all the way caught up with all of them, we have to wait until Thursday. And I'm like really excited for Thursday because I do want to watch it with you. So we'll see how that works out. But that was really fun. You got anything?
What about yours? No. What about your week? How's your week going?
I mean, you kind of mentioned it, man. If you guys don't know, we're roommates, so we do a lot of the same things together. And we don't have Keaton with us because I believe he's doing something with his now fiance. So not too sure what the trip is with what they're doing, but they are in Utah right now, and I believe he's at a Utah Jazz game. So shout out to Keaton. Enjoy that, man. But yes, we are roommates, so we basically do most of what we talk about together. So when Keaton gets to talk, it's kind of a break. But like you said, we watched Dexter. Over the weekend, I got to hang out with Diego a little bit. Went to Santa Monica, or not Santa Monica, but close to it, Redondo Beach. That was a lot of fun. And then, just watched some Dexter. Been working out. Work has been getting really busy. Today I had a long day, but, that's life, man. And work has been good besides that, and I really love my team. So life is good, dude. Life is good.
It's good, man.
I'm ready to talk some football, even though I hate both these teams. But I think it's time to get into it, unless you have anything yet.
No, don't have anything. Let's just get right on into it.
Let's jump in.
Green 18. Red 48. Settle down. Wide 80. Sit hut.
We suck. We suck. Get rid of Belichick. Get rid of Mac Jones. Get rid of our entire receiving core.
You guys are 2-8.
That's what I thought. 2-7, 2-8. It doesn't matter. We still suck.
So Seahawks played the Ravens. Final score was 28-25. Geno Smith, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Anyway, not really much to write home about that game. Just
right.
This is
I don't think Jared Goff is a top 5 quarterback in the NFC.
Wait, are you putting Justin Herbert over Jared Goff?
Yes.
It was like an interview for like a new podcast company. Called Brazzers. I mean, you could see I'm literally in the headquarters right now, dude.
Jeez Louise, man.
Fucking crazy, man. That intro every time. It's awesome because that intro, every single time, there's one piece of it differently every single time that catches my eye. It's like, oh man, why did I say that? Or like, oh man, that's a crazy take. Or like the Meaty Keaty, like that's not one that we've brought up, and that's just hilarious.
Meaty Keaty, that nickname was insane. I remember when I finally pointed out, I was like, I just realized I was in the middle of drinking a Coca-Cola in that fucking introduction.
Yep. Meaty Keaty, Mutt. Meaty Mutt. Man, Keaton has some crazy high school fucking
Meaty Mutt.
Meaty Mutt. Meaty Mutt at Mutland.
we are exposing this man while he's not here. Is this what cyberbullying is?
I'm sorry. Anyways, Dan, you're hosting, so let's get into it, man.
Yeah. Well, everyone, welcome. Welcome to, I don't know, the final episode of the regular / postseason. This is it.
Crazy, man.
This is it, man. First off, before we get into this episode, I just want to give a few thank yous. Thank you to the listeners for sticking around with us this entire time. We can be a lot for sure, or there are days, we may not have a lot to talk about, but you guys still continue to listen to us or watch us or both, whatever. It's a little creepy if you do both, if you think about it in that way, but thank you. We appreciate it. We appreciate all your guys' support. Zach mentioned this 2 weeks ago and the week before prior, last week. Go check out our merchandise in the merchandise store if you guys haven't seen that yet. Some good new stuff in there. But thank you again for listening to all of this, and we hope you enjoy the off season as well when that comes around as well, and the next year. We're going to still be here.
Yeah, we're going to be here. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. But let's jump into this. So, Zach, if I'm not mistaken, we have some voicemails.
We do have voicemails.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Ant kind of mentioned it. We are extremely thankful for all of you guys, and we are kind of introducing something new to all of the channels. So this will be in the description below, a link to it. But we have introduced a new voicemail where you as a listener can settle down any voicemail and basically have it be towards anyone. So we got two. I'm going to play the first one right now because you're going to enjoy this one.
Yeah, this is Tyler. My message is for In the End Zone. And, sometimes when I watch the show, I see Anthony just sitting there looking cute as a button. And I just want to tickle him until he giggles a little. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's kind of all I had to say. Thanks. Yeah, this is Tyler. My message is for
That's kind of what I had to say. Thanks. I will say, and I don't want to spoil this, but the difference between both of these voicemails is crazy. This is probably the best it could have been. So we have Tyler fucking around, and then we have this wholesome one.
Hi, it's Mama Voicin. Just calling to say hi, and I'm sorry. It's for all of the podcasts. I love all of you boys so much, but truth be told, I love Zach and Cody a little bit more, because I birthed them and all. Shout out to the twins. Seriously, though, love you boys and so proud of each of you. Keep doing what you're doing. Do your thing. Settle down. Let's go. Love y'all.
Ooh.
Love Mama Voicin. Bye.
Thanks, Mama. I love
Thank you. Thank you, Liz.
But the last part, it cringed me just a little bit. A little too long of let's go, But I love you, Mama.
Yeah.
I hope that you're listening to this and you give me some shit for giving you shit. We're going to play one more.
Fair enough. Oh, boy.
Yeah, this is Tyler. My message is for In the End Zone.
I just wanted to play it again. I'm sorry. I want to get your hopes up.
I see Anthony just sitting there looking cute as a button. I just want to tickle him until he giggles a little. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's kind of all I had to say. Thanks. Yeah.
Thanks, Elu. I appreciate it, man. Boom. Weird, a little bit weird, Tyler, but I appreciate it. I guess.
I love that. Seriously, guys. I mean, that's awesome. Thank you, Tyler and my mama, for doing that. If you guys want to, like I said, link's going to be in the description. Ant mentioned it as well, but we did just do a new drop for clothing. So if you guys want to check that out, go check it out. And we've continued to mention this, but if you haven't heard it yet, we also have a new YouTube channel. So go subscribe to that. Be on the lookout for a lot of new stuff. And yeah, let's get into some Super Bowl talk, even though we've been continuing to say that. It's been a long intro.
Let's get into this. As we all know, the moment is here. The Mahomes Bowl. I mean, shit. Wait a minute. Did I just say, Zach, did I just say the Mahomes Bowl? I mean the Super Bowl. Silly. I mean the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is among us. Super Bowl 59, or AKA Super Bowl LIX. Stupid, by the way. But licks. The licks. Super Bowl licks. Yeah, NFL, can you start actually just putting the number there? That'd be great because I don't speak Roman numeral. Sorry.
No one does. It's classic. I will say that. But
it's classic. It is. It is.
Let's get like a little thing where it shows like both of them,
Yeah, like, or in a parentheses, 59,
Mhm.
I'm shitting
Yeah,
on him, but I'm
yeah.
not, because it is a classic, obviously keep it, but, somewhere in there, put the actual number in. We don't speak Roman
Yes.
numeral. Um,
Agreed.
but in honor of the Super Bowl, as you can see, coming up here, Zach and I, we're wearing our jerseys right now.
Yeah.
It's a tradition. You got to do
White on
it.
white, baby.
White on
White on
white.
white.
Zach, what jersey are you wearing? Bosa?
So I chose to wear Bosa because during the Super Bowl, I thought this would be the one jersey that I really thought would give me some good mojo. So I'm going to just continue to bring that into next year, even though we didn't win last year. This is the 75-year anniversary from 1946 to 2021 of Nick Bosa. So yeah, we're doing a little white on white action, me and Ant.
Yeah.
Ant, I have a feeling there is a reason why you're wearing that jersey specifically. What is the jersey that you have on, just so the listeners can hear?
Oh, it's Patrick Mahomes' dad. Look, there it is. That's his dad. I'm wearing Brady. I'm wearing the Brady
How do you
jersey.
feel?
Yeah, no, you know what? I gotta rock it. I gotta, because I
Yes,
don't want the
yes, you
Chiefs to
do.
win. Because I don't want them to win. I
Bucket.
want the Eagles to win. And honestly, this brings me straight into my discussion here. We all know the reason why I don't want the Chiefs to win. It's because Tom Brady is the GOAT. And this brings up a lot of topic and a lot of conversations if the Chiefs do win. So Zach, my first topic about the Super Bowl is: will Patrick Mahomes be the new GOAT if he three-peats?
Nope.
I agree.
No, it will
But I
not
want to
be.
hear your reason.
But he
I
will
want
be
to know
the
your reason
second
why.
best quarterback of all time. Well, just because I mean, if you look at Tom Brady, it's similar to like a LeBron James, where you can kind of split up his career into two, if not three, Hall of Fame type of careers, just because of longevity. Now, will I say this? Is this the best start to anyone's career ever? Yes. If Patrick Mahomes retired after the Super Bowl and won it, he would be, in my opinion, the second best quarterback ever. He'd have 4.
Mhm.
He'd have a. It'd be really, really hard to argue that. However, he's never going to pass Brady unless he at least gets 6 Super Bowls and a couple more MVPs, or he would have to throw up some crazy stats and just be nuts like he has been in the playoffs. Which I'm not saying he's not on his way to become the greatest ever, right? I
Mhm.
mean, realistically, Patrick Mahomes has the availability and the career potential to become the second greatest athlete of all time, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Just with what he's doing right now in the era of sports and how dominant he's been, it has been ridiculous. However, he can't be the GOAT. He can't be. And the people that are arguing that just don't know straight facts. They don't know ball. They don't know what they're looking at. Because you can
Mhm.
look at Patrick Mahomes and say, yeah, he could be a potential future GOAT. Sure. Hell yeah. And is
Mhm.
he a Hall of Famer? Yep. Is he a top 3 quarterback, regardless of what anyone else says after he three-peats? Yep. No matter what, those are all guarantees. But to say he's the GOAT after just a three-peat and you look at Tom Brady's resume, you can't do it. Can't do it.
Right.
Respect, though, seriously. Like, I'm saying this
Yes.
all respectfully because everyone hates on Patrick Mahomes, and I really don't like him because I've said this multiple times. He's turned 2 of the best days potentially in my life into the 2 worst days of my life, at least football viewing wise. But it's just like Brady. Like, if you're not a fan of the guy, it's like you hate him because he's so successful, and that's what we're all jealous of. We're jealous of him. Patrick Mahomes has been fucking great, but I would not say he's the GOAT. And I'm assuming you're going to agree because of that intro. But if you have anything to add on to it, go for it.
Yeah. I don't think he'll be the GOAT. I agree with you though. He is going to be, no matter what. Honestly, yeah. No. If he wins, if he gets this three-peat, he is the second best quarterback. He, if anything, does not matter if he wins or loses. He's a top 3 quarterback ever.
Yep.
And right now, if he does win this, it sucks, but he will be better than Joe Montana. He will be.
Yep.
And even for me,
Which
like
sucks for me
I
because I mean that's like my GOAT.
that's your go. Exactly. Like, and
That's my
I have
GOAT.
so
The
much respect for
49ers
Joe
GOAT.
Montana. Like, even for me, like, I'm like, that sucks. That truly sucks. It's Joe
Yep.
Montana. But he will be the second best quarterback if he does three-peat. Now, the reason why I don't think he'll be the GOAT is, one, Brady has 7 rings. I'm sorry, I'm looking at rings right now. You got to look at those Lombardi trophies. 7 rings.
Yep.
Mahomes will have what, 4 if he wins this?
Yep. This will be his 4th.
This will be his 4th. So still not there at all. On top of that, like I said earlier, Pat Mahomes, that's Brady's son. Brady has beaten him twice in the playoffs. One AFC championship game with the Patriots in 2018, and then 2021 in the Super Bowl with the Bucks.
Right.
He owns them. And keep in mind that Super Bowl, I'm not a Bucks fan. I'm a Brady fan at that point, right? So I was rooting for the Bucks because of Brady.
Underdogs.
They were. And I was so happy because if you don't remember correctly, that Super Bowl, belt to ass.
31-9, I think it was.
31-9. Yep.
And he hasn't lost since.
No, he hasn't. And that was at what, age 45, 46?
Yep.
Against a young Patrick Mahomes who's getting into his prime or in the middle of his prime, whatever it is, right? Early stages of his prime. He's not the GOAT. You can even look up what Gronk said. Gronkowski. He said the same thing. He was all like, absolutely not. He is not the GOAT. Did you not see what Tom did to him 2 times in the playoffs? Twice? Yes.
He did it in the AFC Championship. He owned him in the AFC. Then he did it in the NFC Championship and owned him in the NFC, which is
right.
Super Bowl. But so let's play devil's advocate, Anthony, just because I want to, and because I think this could be good in the clip. Like you said, he will not be the GOAT. However, if we were to look at all of the stats of the GOATs, and Patrick Mahomes was on this list because he is on basically all these lists, this is how the stats would go. Comparing Mahomes, Montana, and Brady before age 29, which, if you don't know, those are the consensus top 3 quarterbacks of all time. Patrick Mahomes, and this is in the playoffs, 15-5. Tom Brady, 10-1. Joe Montana, 7-1. QB rating, 105.8. Tom Brady, that was Patrick Mahomes. Tom Brady, 84.43. Joe Montana, 89.78. Completion percentage, Patrick Mahomes, 67.8%. Tom Brady, 61.3%. Joe Montana, 61.9%. Touchdown to interception ratio, holy fuck. Patrick Mahomes, 43-8. Tom Brady, 15-5. Joe Montana, 17-11. Super Bowl rings. Patrick Mahomes, 3. Tom Brady, 3. Joe Montana, 2. And Patrick Mahomes obviously has the chance to do 4 before the age of 29. So now let's just get into NFL playoffs all-time passing leaders in all of the stats. This is a minimum of 10 starts. Lowest interception rate, Josh Allen, 1.0%. Patrick Mahomes, 1.1%. Highest completion percentage rate, guess who's at the top? Patrick Mahomes, 67.8%. Playoff winning percentage, Patrick Mahomes at a fucking crazy 0.85. That means if he played 10 games, he's winning 8.5 of them. Most career playoff wins by a quarterback. Patrick Mahomes, 17 before the age of 29. Your favorite number, Ant, 17. Tom Brady, 35. He's number 1. Highest QB rating of all time, playoffs. Patrick Mahomes, 105.89. First 20 playoff starts. This is comparing some of the GOATs, obviously, too. I'm not too sure what this is, but I think this is just a comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady, QB rating, 89.1, 15-5, 6.7 yards per attempt, completion rate, 62.9%, a touchdown to interception ratio of 5% to 2.4%. This is their first 20 playoff starts. Sorry, I did not see that first. Joe Montana, 97.7 QBR, a record of 15-5, 7.9 yards per attempt, a 63.4 completion percentage, a 6.3% touchdown to 2.7% interception rating. Peyton Manning, 88.4 QB rating, who, if you guys don't know, Peyton Manning is typically considered either top 3 or top 4 of all time. Peyton Manning, 88.4 QBR, a record of 9-11, yards per attempt, 7.5, completion rate, 63.2, touchdown percentage, 4.2% to a 28 interception rate. Patrick Mahomes, and this is just nuts, man, 105.8 QBR, 17-3 record, 7.7 yards per attempt, 67.8 completion rate, and a 5.9% touchdown to 1.1 interception percentage. He is basically first or second in every statistical category that you can have. And he's 29.
It's impressive. It really is.
So if he was to retire right now, hell yeah, he's the second best fucking quarterback of all time. But the one main thing that still remains is them Lombardi trophies, man. Lombardi trophies. If he had 4 and retired tomorrow, he'd be the second greatest of all time, right? If he had 6, and he won maybe 4 straight, or if he took a break and then won another 2 straight, kind of like a Michael Jordan, then it would be like, there's a real fucking argument for this. But that's a future talk, and we're not there yet. So, no, not yet. That is the answer.
Okay. Well, I like this. I like that. Thank you, Zach.
I will say, too, just to continue, this is kind of nuts. They have been to 7 straight AFC Championship games.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stats that are fucking, I'm just going to say.
Patrick Mahomes has also never lost a divisional game.
Never. That is like and he's only lost to Tom Brady and Joe Burrow in a championship game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nuts.
Well, moving on, we have, so this is interesting. I mean, not really interesting. It's kind of assumed. This is just some news that I saw today. Andy Reid will continue coaching the Chiefs in 2025.
Oh yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Now, good for him. He's a great coach, honestly.
Good for him. I love Andy Reid.
Good for cheeseburger guy, all right? But I will say, and this all could be leading up even after the Super Bowl or even right now, whatever, okay? But my next question to this is, where does Andy Reid place among all-time NFL coaches?
Okay. So I'm going to be the Keaton today because Keaton typically has all the stats. However, when I read this question, I thought it would be good to actually look and, find some stats that back up at least an argument that we could have. So the question is, where does Andy Reid place among all-time NFL coaches? We're going to read off all these stats and then based off of that, place them where we think. 258 regular season wins, 4th most all-time. 26 playoff wins, 2nd most all-time. Led the Eagles and Chiefs to a Super Bowl appearance. Only 6 other coaches have led multiple teams to Super Bowls. 5 Super Bowl appearances, tied for 3rd most all-time. 3 Super Bowl wins, tied for 3rd most all-time. 120 wins with both the Eagles, playoff wins, I'm assuming that is, with both the Eagles and Chiefs. 120 wins total with both the Eagles and Chiefs, and that's in the regular season, not playoffs. I read this prematurely. 19 playoff appearances, that's tied for most all-time. So if you look at it, in most of the stats, he is top 3 in. And if he wins another one, I would assume that he jumps even closer to top 2 or maybe 1 in a couple of those statistical categories. So in my humble opinion, I think he's definitely top 5. I don't think there's a question with that. However, I do think his coaching years as an Eagle coach doesn't necessarily diminish his argument of being the best ever. However, he did struggle a bit and was considered the Kyle Shanahan before Kyle Shanahan. He choked a couple of times. They considered him a coach that couldn't get it done, and then he goes to the Chiefs, and all of a sudden, he drafts the greatest quarterback of all time, potentially, 2nd greatest, I'm going to say, and has one of the greatest coaching staffs of all time, if not the greatest, in my opinion, right now this year. So do I think he's top 3? I really think that there is a big argument that could be said that he is. However, I
top
think
3 or top 5?
Right now, I think he's top 5 with a 3-peat and the only coach to ever do that. And then he's tied for 2nd with the most Super Bowl wins of all time with 4. I think he would jump into the top 3. That's my humble opinion, but he's a hell of a coach, man. And I love his demeanor and the way that he's not serious about things. He's not serious about things, but he's just a genius. Andy Reid's one of those guys. Bill Belichick, I'll say this. When you guys had your fucking dominance, I didn't like Bill Belichick. I don't know. He was just arrogant. He's hard to listen to sometimes, but I respected him. Respected the fuck out of him. Andy Reid, I genuinely like. Honestly, the coaching staff for the Chiefs is one of my favorite coaching staffs because they're pure geniuses. Geniuses, like all of them. And he's not hard to listen to. He's humble. He gives people props, and he's just a great coach, honestly, full and full, through and through. Yeah. It's really the players that gets me. Players, the Taylor Swifts, how the NFL glazes them, the refs. We'll talk about this later, but that's really what, turns me off from the Chiefs. So I love Andy. I think he's top 5, borderline top 3 if he wins a 3-peat. He might be solidified top 3, but Ant, you got anything?
No, I mean, I definitely think that he is top 5. Honestly, I may already put him in the top 3 conversation for what he has accomplished with Pat Mahomes and on that entire team in this dynasty they have going on right now. It truly is great. And I see it. I mean, Belichick did the same thing. I definitely see that potential within him to honestly be the greatest NFL coach of all time, right? Or up there as one of them, right? I definitely see it. But right now, he's not the greatest. I don't think he's the second best. If anything, I'd probably put him in the 3. And even if even if anything, at most, he is top 5. At most,
he's
top
like in
5.
that 3 to 6 area for sure, just depending on how you want to argue it. But yeah,
Right.
I mean, I think that's pretty fair.
Well, good. I'm glad you got the stats out for that one. Next little piece I have here is, will Travis Kelce retire if they three-peat? Now, I do want to add something here. I can't remember who said it. It was either Patrick Mahomes or it was Andy Reid, but one of them said that Travis Kelce still got some game in him left and that he will not retire.
I think this question is being thrown around a lot because obviously he's been dating Taylor Swift for 2 years now. You know, they might get serious. People are assuming that he is going to pop the question to her. I don't think he will after Super Bowl. However, this is the first year and maybe even in the playoffs where we could say Travis Kelce has not been fully Travis Kelce. There's been glimpses of it, like he had a great game against Buffalo. But even before that, he didn't really have much of a good regular season, and the playoffs still have been kind of shaky. Like he hasn't been great. He's been good, but he hasn't been great. So people genuinely think he's slowing down. I think he's 33, 34. How old is he?
Travis Kelce is 35.
Yeah, he's 34, 35. Yeah, somewhere
Turns
around
36 this year.
So he's definitely getting up there. When it's all said and done, he's going to be top 2 tight end of all time. You and I both have the same opinion on that. But there's definitely some people that don't, and the stats definitely back up that he could be the greatest of all time, especially when it matters. But I don't think he'll retire. Maybe not yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did it after the Super Bowl, honestly. Like, what else does he have to prove, you know? Unless he was chasing Jerry Rice's record for most playoff receptions and yards, I believe Jerry has both of them. But if he was trying to chase both of those, then maybe he would stay and maybe he can continue to give, you know, what he gives and help produce Super Bowls because he does have such a good coaching tree and coaching staff in general. And he has great players around him and he's playing with the second greatest quarterback of all time. So it makes sense to stay with him, but he's 35, man. Like tight ends don't play for that much longer.
No.
Like, they don't play for that much longer. He's slowing down. It would make sense either way, in my opinion. I don't really know how I can try to predict this, but if he was to retire, I wouldn't be like, whoa, like he's retiring. But if he was to stay, I'd be like, it makes sense. Like he's not really injury prone. He's not playing horrible. He's not playing great. He's under the greatest coaching staff of all time. He loves Patrick Mahomes. Like there's no reason to leave him. So I don't know. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, but that's just my opinion with it.
You see, I agree. I think the same thing. I think that if he does continue to stay, I think it's one more year. I think one more year, and I think he's done after that.
I think that's fair.
No matter what, I think
by
the age 36,
pushing 37. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think after that he's going to be done no matter what.
And it's a position where you're physical too, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I definitely think that it wouldn't surprise me if he stayed. It really wouldn't.
It wouldn't.
But if he did, but I mean, if he did retire after this, honestly, I'd be like, oh, thank God. Okay, cool. But
their dynasty's almost over.
Yeah, this dynasty could be done. Just kidding. No, I don't know. I don't think that.
Don't say that yet. Same thing about the Patriots.
Yeah. Well, moving on. Let's get a little bit into some Eagles talk now. We talked a little bit about the Chiefs. Where will Jalen Hurts rank with the Super Bowl win? If the Eagles win, of course. You know, these are a whole bunch of ifs that we're going off right now.
Man, this is my issue with Jalen, dude. I don't think Jalen's a loser, but if he does lose, he'd be 0-2 in Super Bowls, and he would be 0-2 in Super Bowls with a clearly better roster. I mean, he's had some stacked rosters in his time.
Yeah.
And this is no exception. This defense is probably the best. Actually, it is the best in the NFL. And he has the best running back, maybe the best running back year of all time. We'll talk about that later. But Saquon's been fucking nuts. Their offensive line is great. So if he can't get it done, I mean, I bet he'll be partially blamed. But even if he does win and he has 3 touchdowns, one of them is rushing, 2 of them are throwing to a deep ball and A.J. Brown, and they win by 3 points. Like, what can you say? Like, this is the thing, in my opinion. It's like Jalen didn't have a great regular season. He didn't have a bad one, but he didn't have a great regular season. Has he been great in the playoff games?
I
hasn't needed to
personally
be. Hasn't needed to
they
be.
got Saquon. They got Saquon.
And when he is great, it's with his legs. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, like he's a great player, he's a great leader, he's a great winner because that's all this guy does. But it's like, is he a good quarterback? So when we're ranking, it's like, where would you put him? Top 4 in the NFC? I mean, in my opinion, I would say Jaden Daniels is number 1. I would say probably number 2 is still Matthew Stafford because when it matters in the playoffs, he gets it done. Even though they didn't necessarily get it done this year, but he still played
put
great.
Matthew.
Yeah, and then after that, it's like who would be there? Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy if he's healthy and playing decent. I mean,
If Jalen Hurts wins it,
if
Jalen Hurts wins it, I'm putting it over Brock and I'm putting it over
yes,
like
completely.
And
I would say
who's the other guy you just said?
Second.
Yeah,
Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff. Yeah.
No, Jared Goff.
I mean,
I put him over Jared Goff.
Yeah,
Brock,
I think
I would
it
put him
would
over.
solidify him as third, probably second best. And if someone argued number 1 in the NFC, I wouldn't blame them either. But I've seen fucking bullshit ass dumb arguments and debates of would he be the 4th guy, like the Mount Rushmore of all the quarterbacks. And I'm
Absolutely
like,
not.
what are we thinking here? What are we thinking here? And this is what really bothers me is whenever they bring this up, they say the top 3 is Patrick Mahomes, obviously, Josh Allen, Lamar. What? Hold on one fucking second before I even continue with that fucking conversation. Why are we fucking not putting in the fucking 5,000-yard thrower this year? The dude that everyone fucking wrote off because of his wrist. Does Joe Burrow ring a fucking bell? The second best quarterback for when it matters. The only guy that has actively beat Patrick Mahomes. Those are the top 4 guys. So no, he will not be top 4. Whoever fucking continues to say that bullshit. And I don't think I would put him top 5. Unless Jalen has a 3 touchdown, 250 yards, 100 rushing yards, and he throws the ball 3 of those touchdowns. Then I would be like, okay, you caught my attention. You're the best NFC quarterback in my opinion. But he's not. That's not how they're going to win. And if they rely on him to do that, they will not win.
They won't.
I promise you that.
It's going to be interesting. I don't think that he's a top NFC quarterback, even if they do win. Honestly, I would still much rather give it to Matthew Stafford over Jalen Hurts. You can shit on me for that, but 100% Matthew Stafford has got it done before, multiple times actually.
But they're shitty roster. Well, not shitty, but not a great roster.
Not shitty, but Matthew Stafford has been there, I think, more than Jalen Hurts as well. I think, and
he's won one.
And he's won one. I don't care. I'm putting Stafford over Jalen Hurts, even if Jalen Hurts wins it.
Fuck you, Eagles fans. Sorry, I had to say
that. I'm sorry. Most of you Eagles fans are terrible. I'm not gonna lie, terrible. There could be some of you good ones out there. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna shit on every single one because there could be some good ones out there. But for the most part, you guys do kind of suck. But moving on. So Zach, we've talked about this a lot actually during the regular season in general. At one point, we said this guy was going to be on the hot seat, and then they turned. Yeah, and then they turned it around. So, but this will bring it up then. If the Eagles lose, will they fire Nick Sirianni?
No,
I don't think so.
They can't. Nick Sirianni can cry as much as he wants and bitch to the refs and actually cry in the pregame because we'll see that again. Unfortunately, fuck you, Nick. However, yeah, dude. I mean, they were 2-2 to start the year, and then they won like 13 or 11 out of the next 13. It was something crazy like that. I don't know. I think they were 13-3. They started out 1-2 and then won like damn near like every other game. So
let me see this. So
on the hot seat.
This is preseason.
Probably.
So they were 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, and then after that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They went on a 10-game win streak. Yeah. December 15th. So
they won 11 of the last 13, I think it was.
So their second loss was on September 29th, and then their last win. So then they won all the games, and then their next loss after that was on December 22nd.
Yeah, so they won the next 12 out of 13 games, or whatever it was. So when we had that conversation, they were 2-2 and just got Saquon. They have the best roster in the league. Everyone was panicking, but it's different now. There's no way they even sniff fucking firing him, and realistically, he probably just gave himself the best chance to signing a long-term championship, hopefully caliber coaching contract.
Right.
And especially if he wins it, he's definitely going to be rolling in the money, unfortunately, because Nick, in my humble opinion, is not a great coach. But he definitely is not going to be fired. That's my opinion. I don't know if you differ. It doesn't seem like you do, but yeah.
Right.
Nick, you're a bitch still, regardless.
Well, moving on from Nick Sirianni. If Saquon produces in the Super Bowl, is this the best running back year ever? Like, Zach,
Yeah.
Keaton, pull up the stats.
So I want to do this. I wanted to pull it up, but it's really just one stat. So
Okay.
there have been
fine.
a couple of running backs that have, in totality, ran for more than 2,100 yards in a full season, right? There's Adrian Peterson in 2012 who had 2,196 yards. There's Eric Dickerson in 1984, that had 2,212 yards. There's Terrell Davis who did it in 1997 and 1998. That is fucking nuts, by the way. His 1997 one was 2,331 yards. And then sandwiched between his 1997 and 1998 year is Saquon Barkley with 2,447 total rushing yards. That's this year, obviously. And then Terrell Davis, yet again, back-to-back years. My, oh my, that's fucking nuts. Had a rushing yard total of 2,476 yards in 1998. So that is the most ever in a single season, including playoffs and Super Bowl. Saquon is less than 30 yards away from that. I would guarantee you that he breaks that. He didn't break the regular season record. However, he probably could have if they played him. And they did have the one extra game. And I will say, I believe this includes his one extra game as well. Because, let's see, Terrell Davis stats. Maybe not. But regardless, he will break that record. I will guarantee you it. And to me, this is the greatest modern year of all time by a running back. And to be honest with you, I think just reading those stats, it probably is the greatest of all time. Like, what he has done has been fucking nuts. What he averages, he's averaging Ashton Genty type of fucking yards in the NFL. Like, this man had 345 attempts, 2,005 rushing yards, 13 rushing touchdowns, 5.8 yards per carry. He had 33 receptions, 278 reception yards and receiving yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. But in the playoffs alone, like, listen to this. He had 66 attempts, 442 rushing yards, 5 rushing touchdowns, a average of 6.7 yards per carry, and then 35 receiving yards. So if it's not the best, it's top 3. I'd have to see the stats of all the rest of them because Terrell Davis doing that back-to-back years is fucking nuts. And I know that Adrian Peterson year was fucking crazy, and that's with less games because he lost, I believe, that wild card game, if not the divisional game. So, I mean, these don't have the games next to them, but, I mean, to me, this is probably the best year that I've seen since 2012, and it might be greater. It might be the greatest of all time.
I agree.
It's up there.
You know, I haven't seen a running back this impressive to me, honestly, since, you know, the Adrian Peterson days or the Marshawn Lynch days or anything like that. It's honestly unbelievable of what we're actually witnessing right now. Like it's very impressive. Oh yeah. Like, you can hate the Eagles all you want. You can hate them all you want, but you got to admit, I mean, we could say the same thing about the whole thing with Patrick Mahomes, right? I mean, straight up, right? But with Saquon Barkley, this is a running back we're talking about. We don't really get this too often, right? So it feels like it's more impressive and more of a blessing to watch when you're watching a running back putting up these kind of numbers and putting up the stats that he's putting up. Very impressive. I love watching Saquon. And real quick, one more thing.
Yeah,
New York, you guys fucked up big time. Yep. Talking to you, Giants. Talking to you, Giants. Shut up.
Although he wouldn't have done this with the fucking bullshit offensive line that they had, and that's the argument.
No, but still, they fucked up.
No, they did. They definitely paid the wrong dude with Daniel Jones because that dude is fucking awful and not even on the team anymore. So I will say this though, I think if Saquon does go to the Super Bowl, obviously wins or breaks that record and wins the Super Bowl and wins the Super Bowl MVP, I would humbly say that it is the best of all time, and I think it'd be pretty clear. pretty fucking clear. So
no, I agree. Yeah.
that's awesome.
So
God, here we go.
Here we
the
go.
topic
So
everyone wants to know about.
everybody wants to know about this. So Zach, Eagles are in the Super Bowl, right? Who else is in the Super Bowl? Just remind me one more time.
The Chiefs.
The Chiefs. So this brings up the question: are the refs going to be a problem? Or is it going to be like how the Chiefs and the Bills game was during this last AFC Championship game? Because that game honestly was fine. That game was completely fine in my eyes. There was maybe, like I said, if you want to go back, watch that episode that we did. I said there was maybe 2 to 3 plays that I was very questionable about. It was still a first down. Anyways,
so I'm going to say this.
Yeah.
This is really, really hard for me to answer as a 49ers fan because I've watched a lot of Super Bowls where the 49ers have played the Kansas City Chiefs. And I don't want to say this in a biased term, but I think that the penalties that are not going to be called are going to impact the game more than the penalties that will be called. Because as a 49er fan, if you go back, there are clear holding penalties. Clear holding penalties and offsides and false starts. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of premature movements and a lot of things that were not called. And look, I know the refs, they don't call that, but when you have the most held team last year get 0 holding calls in the playoffs in totality and 0 in the Super Bowl, where the Niners had 2 or 3, it starts to get a little shaky. And I think the non-calls are going to have a more of an impact, at least from the Eagles' view, if they do lose, than the calls that are made. Because in all reality, I don't really see this game coming kind of down to like what we saw with the Bills and the Chiefs, where those 2 plays specifically, it's like, oof. Like, if I was a Bills fan, I'd be like, that's rigged. If I was a Chiefs fan, I'd be like, it was called on the field. Like, what can you say, right? So there might be a couple of that, but I just know the Super Bowl is going to be one of those games where there's not a lot of flags called. They do this every year. Every year they don't call a lot of flags and they let the boys play, and that's what they're going to do, and that's what they did with the Niners. And, the Chiefs just took advantage of it, unfortunately. And I don't think the refs are going to be a problem. I don't think they're going to take advantage of it purposefully, but the Chiefs find a way to win. And I think that, like I said, the non-calls are going to be more impactful than the calls. What about you, though? Do you think the refs will be a complete problem, Matt?
I don't think they're going to be a complete problem. And I'm going to be straight up with it, right? Patriots, when they're in their dynasty, right? Or in the middle of it, whatever. It's almost like it was the opposite, at least from my point of view with what I saw. Okay. I could be wrong from a non-Patriots fan point of view with it. But for us, it was more like we were getting bad calls. And what I mean by this is like there would be a holding on the defense, right? If we were on offense, when it was clearly like not a holding of any sort or anything like that. I don't know. Like it was something like that. Or Tom Brady would get hit. Wait, you get what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah. We would get these calls, like we would get them, and it would allow us to move up the field. For the Chiefs, it's not necessarily like that. It's actually like opposite almost, where it helps them almost when the calls are not called.
Right.
Now, it's not necessarily like the refs are going to be a problem with that, because I think it's going to be very similar to the Chiefs and Bills game. But I don't know. I just pray that I just pray it's not going to be like how, like the Chiefs and Niners game was as much. That's honestly what I don't want to see. Because we all saw it. I mean, even then, even for me, not being I'm not a Niner fan at all, but there were a lot of plays where I was like, fuck, like that's holding. But okay, sure.
Right. I think Keaton said it best, and then we'll move on to the news. Last week, he said that football is a game of attrition and just taking advantage of the calls that are made and non-calls that are made and momentum. It really is that type of a sport. And the Chiefs do that the greatest. They do it every single time. When it matters, they get it done. Like you said, I think there could probably be 2 to 3 plays in this Super Bowl that will either be called or not called, and it will impact the game, regardless of who wins. It's always like this. Always like it.
No, I could not agree more. But do you have anything else?
No, that's it.
Well, that's our Super Bowl breakdown preview, whatever you desire to call it. But we're gonna jump into the news now. We got a little bit here, not too much, but and don't you worry, we'll get to our
a lot
Super
of
Bowl
good players.
prediction right after this. There's a lot
Mhm.
going on. There's definitely quite a bit going on
There
right
is.
now. But
There
we
is.
just want to, we want to talk about like the main points right now of what's really happening, the hot topics. So let's just jump right into it. The Rams are willing to eat a chunk of wide receiver Cooper Kupp's salary, which is nearly $40 million over 2 years, to help facilitate a trade. The Rams want to get a trade done immediately, so a trade could come soon. So be on the lookout for that.
Wait. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that they were willing to
Yeah.
take a fucking chunk
Yeah.
from his fucking contract
That
and
just
keep it
that just dropped today, by the way.
and be responsible for it. That is
Yeah.
fucking nuts. There's definitely some teams that are looking into him. Actually, I think the Patriots were one of the ones that were looking into him. That'd be interesting. But
That would
dude,
be.
I don't know.
I don't
This
want
is
him to.
fucking nuts. There's some weird conspiracy theories that the NFL wanted to have some drama because of what happened with the NBA and Luka Doncic. And so that's why this was dropped, and that it came to reality that this was not a rumor and a conspiracy theory, that it's real and that they're going to trade him. And really, it makes sense to me. Although I will say this, Cooper Kupp, when they won the Super Bowl in 2021, I believe it was, that's the greatest wide receiver year of all time. That's the greatest wide receiver year of all time.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. They don't win that Super Bowl without him. So I do think this is a bit disrespectful that they're willing to trade him just like it's nothing. But
Yeah.
it makes sense. Puka Nacua is younger, and he's basically what Cooper Kupp is, except better, at least at this point in his career. And he's a bit different with the ball in his hands after the catch, but he's going to be their wide receiver one. They think that they can move on and get stuff from him. So sucks for him, and I would be fucking pissed. I would feel like extremely disrespected. But you move on, and that's sports and business, man.
Yeah. Personally, though, real quick, I don't want Cooper Kupp to be traded to the Patriots. One, he's old, so we won't get him that much. So we won't get him for that long. And two, he's had a lot of injuries. He's definitely had quite a bit of injuries, and I don't want that.
Last 2 years, man. Last 2 years.
I'd rather have someone who is in their mid-20s that is just a little bit. Yes, T. Higgins. Please God. Anyways, moving on though. Some more trading stuff going on right now. We have Myles Garrett has requested to be traded from the Browns. After the Browns said hang on, I have this up actually. I think I took a screenshot of this. Yes. Okay. The Browns have no plans to trade Myles Garrett despite his trade request, which is very, very interesting. The Browns don't want to get rid of him. Myles Garrett wants to go though. And guess what? I don't blame you, Myles. I don't blame you. That place is that's a poop hole. I'm sorry. Cleveland, Ohio. It sucks. Now, there is another thing I did see about this is that the Commanders are the favorites right now if they were to get Myles Garrett. I did see that.
That would be fucking awesome. That would
obviously
be awesome.
that could have just been a rumor I saw, but that is what I saw, and I didn't look too deep into it. But so don't take my word for it if you're listening to this. But that is just something I did see, and that would be wild if the Commanders did end up acquiring Myles Garrett to their defense.
No, it really would be. And like I've seen some other spots too. I saw some dude say the Eagles, and I'm like, dude,
oh my God,
that would be fucking nuts. However, would you trade for him if you win a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Like, if you win a Super Bowl, do you really need him? I mean, I guess that would solidify like a potential dynasty, but I mean, they have everything that's available to basically trade for him. There's a couple other ones, like the Packers, the Bears, hate both of those spots. The Commanders would be awesome. I've seen the Lions. Does not make a lot of sense unless you think homeboy Hutchinson isn't going to come back and be himself. The Chargers, that would be fucking awesome. And
that would be crazy.
I could see that. I could definitely see that. And then I've also seen the Raiders, which, man, oh man, Crosby and fucking Garrett would be nuts together. But
nuts.
I don't know where he's going to go, honestly.
I don't know.
And I don't really want to try to predict it. Honestly, it seems like he's not going to go anywhere, and he potentially could just hold out. Which, I want to get through the news pretty quickly because we have been kind of talking about a lot of the Super Bowl and stuff. However, I'm going to make this quick. I do think playing devil's advocate in this area is definitely something that we should do because we see all these fucking superstar athletes. They always sign a 5-year fucking contract for the max amount that they can get, right? But then
Right.
3 years into it, they're not happy and they're like, oh, I want to go places. Anthony, let me do this. If you got a job offer tomorrow, right, and you signed a contract and you just wanted out of it, like let's say that you signed a contract for 3 years and you're like, I just don't really want to be there. I'm going to hold out. What the fuck would your boss say to you?
Say fuck
He'd
you.
say, okay. He'd say, okay, fuck you. You signed a goddamn contract. It's
Yeah.
no difference between the NFL, which is a business, and regular people fucking business. So I think
Right.
it's bullshit sometimes that these athletes who get paid millions, like Myles Garrett is getting paid millions to do what he's doing, to just want to go play for a different fucking team, then why'd you sign the contract? Like, what's the point of signing the fucking contract? So that's my opinion on it. Dude, the Commanders would be fucking awesome. I would love that, honestly.
Yeah,
But we'll
I
see.
do want to go.
We'll see.
I do want to go into your Eagles talk real quick about it. How you're saying it would be difficult. Like, why would they do it? Right? If for whatever reason, hypothetically, right, the talks about Myles Garrett going to the Eagles. Should they take the trade if that is the case? Right? Hypothetically, right?
Oh, yeah.
100%. Yes, you
100%.
do it. The reason why is because if you put Myles Garrett onto that defense, you are
All-time defense.
you are constantly a contender for the Super Bowl, and you will make the AFC Championship or NFC Championship every year, straight up.
So
And
scary
I
thought,
mean
too.
that. Yes.
Scary thought too. The Eagles defense is the youngest in the NFL, and they
Yes.
were top 5 in every statistical category. So
Mhm.
you had Myles Garrett, who is 28, 26. How old is Myles
27,
Garrett?
28.
Yeah,
He's
somewhere around there. He's not that old. Still in his prime.
Yeah.
It would be fucking
Yep.
disgusting. That defense would
Yep.
be crazy.
Well, more trading rumors going around right now. There's a huge rumor going around right now that the Patriots are considering trading Joe Milton. Yes. Yes.
Don't blame him.
Don't
Do
blame
it.
him. Do it.
Get
He's a
some
great
draft
quarterback.
capital for it. Honestly.
No offense
And
for him,
it
but
seemed like
honestly,
he was decent.
no,
Seemed
yeah,
like he was
absolutely.
decent in his preview.
Because here's the thing, too. He
I will
looked
say.
decent in that, right? Even if for what,
Yeah.
okay, say another hypothetical thing, right? Say like he's really not, okay? Say like that was a one-time thing where he just balled out, right? Get him
Mhm.
right now while teams are so interested from just that one game performance. Do it.
Yep.
Do it. Do it. Get what you can from
Honestly,
that.
he was impressive in his first performance.
He was.
He was.
He
He was
was.
decent.
He did.
Give him a shot. Give him a shot.
Yep.
That's all I'm saying.
Give him a shot. Please offer us a trade. Thank you.
Speaking about
Now,
shots.
this one's just.
Oh, man.
At this point, I think the man just wants to play ball. Jameis Winston says he would absolutely love to sign with the Giants this offseason. Jameis, I honestly, you're there just to play ball and have fun. I'm just convinced. You're there
That
to
would
play
be like
football
intense
and have
views.
a
Like, dude.
God, yeah. Like,
So,
man, the man loves it. Man just loves ball, and that's all he wants to do.
Anthony,
And honestly, a little bit of respect for it.
I don't know if you saw where this came from. However, he is an interview for the whole Super Bowl side of things right now. He's an interviewer.
Yeah.
So the NFL took him, who's probably the greatest personality in the NFL, and said, hey, you should be an interviewer for these teams and fuck around. This man's like talking about Super Bowls and like being serious. And he's like, so everyone wants to know, what's your favorite color? He's just a goof. He's just a goof. And so he's talking to Saquon and he asked him like the same question. He's like, Saquon, what are some good landing spots for some free agent quarterbacks like me? And he's like, well, shit, the Giants need a quarterback. Saquon said that. And he's like, I'd love to play for the Giants. So that's where it came from. I'm like, dude, that's kind of crazy. Like, number one, it's fucking Jameis, and it's his fucking 10th fucking team, right? Jameis will play for anyone. And number two, it's Saquon, who's low-key shitting on his last team. Like, low-key just a little bit, being like, yeah, you should go play for them because they don't have a quarterback now, and they paid for Daniel Jones instead of me. But, yeah, Jameis is just awesome, man. I love him, and I really do like Saquon, too. He's grown on me a ton as a human being as well. So, yeah, that was pretty funny, though.
So, moving on now. We're not so much trading, but, once again, we're moving on from players that we grew up watching when we were kids, Zach. Mason Crosby has announced his retirement from the NFL. Packers kicker legend.
Man, oh man, that one's sad. That one is sad.
That one is sad.
Mason was automatic in the playoffs.
Yes,
You know
he
what?
was
Him
great.
and fucking A-Rod were going crazy. They were going to win some games, and they won a Super Bowl or two together. So shout out to
Mason
him.
Crosby,
He's gonna be a
man,
Hall of Famer.
playoff
I would
playoff
assume
time,
he is,
man.
but
He was locked in. He was
yeah,
locked
he is.
in always.
He is. He
He's a
is.
great
He is.
kicker.
Yep.
Um, but and our last piece of news that we have here is Raiders signed Chip Kelly as offensive coordinator.
So I want to get into this.
You can go into it.
Signing. I don't think it's a horrible signing.
Okay.
But I will say this: his record as an NFL coach is not good.
This is why I'm laughing. This is why I'm laughing.
When he was a coach with the Niners, he was 2-14, 2016. For Philadelphia, he was in 2013 to 2015, 26-21. Once the playoffs, once has a record of 0-1. However, when he's the offensive coordinator, he is fantastic. In 2013, he was 4th in points, 9th in passing, 1st in rushing. In 2014, again with the Eagles, that doesn't make sense. Is that not his offensive? Hold on one second. 2013. Okay, I guess this is just his offensive rankings when he was a coach, not just the OC. I read that wrong in the beginning. My apologies. So in 2013, as obviously the offensive coach, they were 4th in points, 9th in passing, and 1st in rushing. The Eagles were in 2014, 3rd in points, 6th in passing, 9th in rushing. In 2015, they were 13th in points, 12th in passing, and then 14 in rushing. So the man knows how to actually coach an offense. And I think this is where it can get really interesting because I believe the Raiders have the 6th pick.
They have the 6th. They do.
Yeah. So there are a lot of good players that are available then. However, there's a lot of people that are thinking that the Raiders are going to pick a quarterback there. Now that they have hired Chip Kelly, don't believe that, and this is why I'm going to say it. Chip Kelly, if you don't know, was the offensive coordinator for Ohio State, who has Will Howard. Will Howard is not an elite quarterback. He's not an elite quarterback. However, he can get it done when it matters, and Ohio State was easily the best offensive talented coach in all of college football. So I think this is what's going to happen. I think that they're going to draft a wide receiver there. I think in round 2 or 3, they're going to get a guy that's serviceable like Dylan Gabriel or who's another guy? I don't think Will Howard, maybe Quinn Ewers if he's there. Probably not Quinn, but Dylan Gabriel, Quinn Ewers, and then there's another guy that I'm thinking Jackson Dart. That's the main guy that I'm thinking. And I genuinely think that they're going to play with him. He's going to be a serviceable quarterback, and they're just going to get stacked in the draft with offensive weapons. They're going to build around the guys that they have, and they could be decent, dude. I think this is a great signing for the Raiders. I'm serious. Yeah. And maybe I'm wrong, but him as an offensive mind coach is obviously decent. But,
hey, it reminds me a lot of Josh McDaniels. Terrible head coach, great offensive coordinator. So you know what? I respect that. I respect that.
Some coaches are like that.
Nope, absolutely. Well, that kind of wraps up our news, and this brings us to the final topic, our Super Bowl prediction. We'll make it quick.
Prediction of the year. Anthony, who the fuck is winning Super Bowl 59?
So we're going to do a little bit of reverse psychology here, okay? This entire time, this entire season, the entire playoffs, I have said the Chiefs were going to lose. I'm not going to say that. I think the Chiefs actually are going to win. Am I trying to do reverse psychology on this? Yes. Do I actually think it though? Yeah, I really do. I really do think the Chiefs are going to win this. I do think they are going to three-peat. But there is a part of me thinking that they won't do it because no team is three-peat. There's no three-peat. There is a little part of me that goes, maybe there actually won't be a three-peat and that won't happen. But a lot of me is going, it's going to happen. I do want the Eagles to win though. I'm just going to point that out. I'm going to let everyone know I do want the Eagles to win. Despite their fan base, I would love to see the Eagles get a ring there, get Saquon, get a ring there. Yeah, but honestly, it's the Chiefs. The Chiefs are going to get it. They're going to three-peat. Patrick Mahomes will be solidified as the second best quarterback in the NFL. Honestly, I'm going to go with a solid 28-24.
Holy shit, we almost just had the exact same one. So I'm with you, Ant. This whole playoff, I have unfortunately picked the Chiefs, and I'm not going to Fortunately, God, this really sucks. I'm not going to go off of that. I'm going to continue to pick the Chiefs, and I really don't want to because I don't want to watch them win again, but I'm not going to swerve off of the lane that I've predicted this whole time, and that's the Chiefs are going to win it. I think the Chiefs are going to win this. I don't think it's going to be comfortable. I think it is going to be a good game, but I got the Chiefs three-peating 27-23. And that was my score prediction from the beginning of this episode, and I thought you were going to say the same one, but we're on the same page. It's going to be a close game.
Page.
They're going to repeat. We're going to watch it together and hope that Bane comes down and just explodes the stadium, because that's about as good of a win as we can get for this game.
And if you guys don't know that reference, go watch The Dark Knight Rises.
Yep. Fellas,
Yep. But that is it. That is.
And fellas that are listening / watching, that is it, man.
Thank you once again. This has been the final episode of the 2024-2025 season.
What a year.
It's been crazy. It's been real, fam. It's been real.
Leave us a
you know what?
Go subscribe to our new YouTube. Check out the new clothing. Like, subscribe, comment, and just shit on us if we had any bad takes. Ant always says this, but shit on us if we had any bad takes, man.
Yeah, and let us know who you think is going to win the Super Bowl. And go watch it. Wear your jersey. It's a holiday. Even if you don't like any of these teams, you know what? It's a holiday for everyone who watches the sport of football.
Yep.
Wear your jersey. Go out. If you don't have a jersey, wear something of the colors of your favorite team.
Go Niners, man.
Go Patriots. We suck. Still.
Unfortunately, we will be saying go Eagles. Go enjoy it, though, with some family, and we will catch you guys next week.
Peace.